Hey, it's Carolyn from All Day I Dream About Food. Sometimes I think I should actually name my blog All Day I Dream About Chocolate. If you're a chocolate fiend, like I'm a chocolate fiend, have I got the keto cake recipe for you. Today we are going to make my keto ding dong cake. It's 2 fabulous layers of chocolate cake with a cream filling and a delicious chocolate ganache. And it's all perfect for a sugar-free diet. I first developed this recipe for Swerve Sweetener, and the recipe lives on their website, and it is actually made with their chocolate cake mix. Now, if you prefer not to use this or you can't find it, you can use any one of my chocolate cake recipes. It'll work just the same. But for today, we're actually going to make it with their easy boxed mix. So you just put your cake mix in, and I like to whisk it a little to break up the clumps. It takes 3 eggs, and it also takes a 1/3 cup of oil. Now you can use any oil here. This is melted butter. And finally, it takes 1/3 cup of water. And I actually shouldn't have said finally there because it takes a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now you just want to whisk everything together until it's nice and smooth. I've prepped my pans. I've got 2 8-inch cake pans here, and I've greased them, but I've also laid down circles of parchment paper. These are not the best cake pans that I have here, so putting down parchment ensures that my cake will come out more easily. So just take your chocolate cake mix, and you're going to divide them up between your 2 pans. Now these are going to be quite thin layers, so it's really important to grease well and to lay the parchment down so your layers come out and don't break when you're getting them out of the cake pans. I've preheated my oven to 350, and because these are thin layers, they only take about 15 to 20 minutes to bake. So I have taken my cake layers out of the oven, and they look really great. They're just cooling behind me in their pans, and we are going to get started on the cream filling. The cream filling for this ding dong cake is essentially stabilized whipped cream. So what we're going to do is add some gelatin to it, but we have to dissolve the gelatin first. So here I have 2 tablespoons of water, and I'm just going to sprinkle that with 1 teaspoon of grass-fed gelatin. Then I'm going to pop it in my microwave for about 30 seconds. So I've heated up my water and gelatin, and I'm just going to whisk it together. And we're going to let it cool because you don't want to add this hot mixture to your whipped cream. While I'm letting that cool, I'm going to start whipping the cream. And I have 1 cup of whipping cream and a 1/4 cup of Swerve confectioner's sweetener. And then I usually do about 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to whip that until it holds almost stiff peaks. Now, right before it gets to the point where it holds really stiff peaks, this is when you want to start adding your gelatin. You're going to keep your beaters running, and you're going to slowly drizzle the gelatin and water in. That's looking great, nice and thick. Now we can start putting together our cake. So we have our first layer of cake here, and we're going to run a nice sharp knife around the edges to loosen it. So I'm just going to take my serving platter and put it right over top and flip it out. Ooh, I heard it slide out. That's a good sign. Ta-da! Perfect. And in fact, the parchment paper actually stayed right in there. So no problems there. So it came out nice and easily. And now we're going to top this first layer with the whipped cream. Once I get it as nice as I can, we're going to freeze it for a little while so that it'll hold up better when I put the second layer of cake on. So into the freezer it goes, and we just wait 30 minutes. My second layer of cake came out of the pan really nicely as well. So now I'm just going to top that, or top my cake with the other layer. There we go, looking good. It looks perfect so far. And now we get to put on the chocolate glaze. The glaze for the ding dong cake is essentially a chocolate ganache. So We are going to take some cream. This is 3/4 cup cream, and we're going to bring that to a full simmer. Once your cream is actually boiling a little and bubbling, you can turn it off, remove it from the heat, and you're going to want to add 3 ounces of unsweetened chocolate, all chopped up, and you just let it sit for about 5 minutes to melt. And once your chocolate is melted, you can start whisking it together. And once it's all starting to come together and thicken like a chocolate sauce, you want to add 1/3 cup of powdered swerve sweetener and a little vanilla extract. I do again about 1/2 teaspoon. And you're going to whisk this till it's nice and smooth. And when it's ready, it's going to be like a thick chocolate sauce. Now sometimes, depending on your chocolate, it can be a little thin and you want to wait and let it cool a little before you start adding it to your cake. But this one turned out nice and thick from the beginning. I can see it's like a chocolate sauce. So I can just start pouring it over my cake. You can do one of 2 things. You can just simply let it drip down the sides, which is a lot easier. Or you can spend some time spreading it all over the sides of the cake, especially as it cools. It'll spread like frosting. Today, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to let it drip down the sides. And there you have it, my friends. Now you have a keto-friendly chocolate ding-dong cake. Everybody loves it, kids, adults. I'm taking it to a party tonight. For this gorgeous keto cake recipe and so many more, please see All Day I Dream About Food.